Now I'll just keep this frame as it is, because this is all our groundwork which we already here. I'll just quickly create a duplicate of this frame, and now I'll just get rid of all this extra clutter from the frame. Okay, and there's 2, and now we'll be just giving the assigning these variables. So you'd be seeing how I can assign these variables. Can I drag and drop them? No, you cannot do it this way in Figma. So what you have to do, you have to just simply close this variable panel, select the text. As you have selected a text field, Figma only allows you to select either a number variable or a string variable. It doesn't allow you to select a boolean variable for the text. So let's have selected this text, and now when you go to the properties panel of the text, you can see this small dot here which says apply variable. So when you click on this, it will only show you 2 variables, even though we have 4 variables in our file. Why it is showing us 2 variables? Because a text field can only show a string variable or a number variable. So let's just choose username, and it is showing John Doe. I guess we made a spelling error there, no worries. Now we'll select the age, and again we'll be doing the same action, apply variable, and then we'll be selecting age. And for the color, you'd be seeing how I would be adding the color to this text. No, we are not going to add the color to this text, so I'll simply get rid of this text here, and I'll be selecting this frame where I want to apply the color. I'll get rid of this style which I had created here. And what you can do is, how you can apply the variables is as simple as how you apply the styles. So when you click on this 4 dots where you can select any predefined style, you can see the variable as well. So we have defined this color variable just now, and then you can select that variable from here as well. So let's just select that variable, and you can see it has been color coded. And for this switch, again it is the same way. You can select the boolean variable, and based on your variable's value, it will automatically change the switch the component state, because Figma supports switching the component states based on the variables as well. So either you can use a string variable to control the components, or you can use a boolean variable to control the components. We have a detailed tutorial on how to control your components using variable. I'll put that link in the description, as well as you can find a card on the top right corner of the screen where you can take a look at how you can use the variables to control your components. Now let's see how we can change these variables, but let's just test if all the variables are working as expected or not. So probably we can just simply try changing the name here. I can say UXMate. Okay, it is updating real time. Probably I'll just change the color to something else. So when I'm changing the color, it is updating real time. Let's say if I change the age to maybe 20, okay, it is updated the age as well. And let's say it's present, I want to set it to true, then it will automatically set it to the true. Now we have so far learned how to create the variables, how to assign the variables to the things. Now we'll be seeing how to change these variables. So let's say now I want to take them to other page where I want to show some other details. So what I can do is, I can either simply create a different mode of the variable and change the mode of the frame, and then based on the new mode, I can assign those values here. So I'll quickly show you how to create a mode. So let's again go back to the variable. So you can see this plus up here, which is basically your variable mode. So let's say we'll create one more mode here, and we have mode 1 and mode 2. I'll just scale this up a little bit, and we'll say for example user 1, and let's say this is your user 2, right? And for user 2, maybe name is John Doe, and its age is 16. His classroom's color code is something this orangish, and then no, he's not present today. Okay, let's just close this, and now I'll change the mode of the layer or the frame itself. So how would be switching the mode? Now let's select your frame and go back to the properties panel. You can see the layer, and then you can see this variable mode thing here, as we are in the collection 1, because the only collection which we have created here. Now when you go to the local variable, you can see we have only one collection here. You can create multiple collections, and you can have multiple modes or multiple variables within the collection, and then you can have multiple modes for the multiple variables. Though Figma has some limitations, so check out the Figma documentation for the limitations of the variable modes for free paid teams and plans. So there are different restrictions on the different plans, but Let's just close this. As we have two modes, I'll be selecting the mode for the other frame and just take a look at the values here. When I'm switching the mode, it will automatically change the values of the mode. Now what I have to do is I have to simply create an on-click interaction from first frame to second frame, and when I test this interaction and when I play this, you can simply see this my mode has been changed from first to second, right? Okay, now let's say I want to change the variables. So how we can do that? So let's say on click of this, I want to toggle the presentity of this particular user. So what I can do is I can create an on-click interaction. I know this session is kind of a bit stretched, but I want to cover all the basics and the must-have or the must-know things of the variable. So yeah, be sure to subscribe to the channel if not yet, and then don't forget to hit that bell icon because that will keep you updated with all the upcoming notifications. So now quickly create an on-click interaction, and instead of navigate to change to back, we'll be just using a set variable. Okay, and now we'll say this is our isPresent thing, so I'll do isPresent to, let's say, false. Okay, now you'd be seeing a problem here because always I'll be just replacing this replacing this here as well, and I just copied the same interaction on the second frame as well. But now when I load this prototype and when I change this, it is changing the mode from the variable from true to false. When I go to the next frame, it is not toggling it. It is just switching from switching any variable from true to false. But what we have to do, we have to make sure that it is toggling the behavior or toggling the value of the mode. So how we can do that? So I'll first get rid of this on-click interaction, and I'll create it again, and this time I'll be using a conditional behavior. So I'll be checking for the condition, and in condition I'll say if my isPresent is equal to true, okay, then make it set variable, then make it false, okay, and else make it true. Set variable isPresent true. Okay, now I just copy the same thing again, and now you can notice the change of the symbol here. Now this is asking you, this is showing you a conditional behavior, because you can see like one wire is now split into two different things, which is a conditional behavior, and you can see this is a set variable. So I'll just replace this here, and now you can see we have this conditional behavior in both of the frames. So when I click this, it is basically toggling the switch using the variables. You would say I could have created this using the component itself, but with this this is just an example, but with this you can create more conditional behaviors. You can say if a student is present, then probably do certain things as we discussed earlier. If he's absent, then probably call his parents or send an email to his parents why your student is absent today, right? So you can do any other things using the variables and the conditions. Now I guess we have covered most of the things. Let's just quickly see how to change a string variable. It is kind of a bit tricky. So let's say rather than going to the next screen using the on click and or navigate to interaction, we will create an interaction which will change the variable here itself, and it will change the values of the variable on click of the next button. So I'll create an interaction. This time I'll be using a set variable, and I'll say username and what I want as a new username. So let's say my new username should be John D, for example. And as I have already mentioned, Figma always use the string in the quotes, right? So you can see it has automatically added the quotes even if I haven't typed them, because string can be only understood by any of the compiler by the quotation marks, right? So let's create okay, let's just test this. So now you can see it is UXMate. When I click on next, it is making it as a John Doe because we have asked it to change the variable, right? So now let's say I want to change the age as well of the next user, right? So what I can do is I can do I can reuse the same on-click interaction. I don't have to create any other interaction. I can just add up one more action here. So on click, when you click on this plus button, it allows you to create one more further action here. So let's again create a set variable. This time select the edge and maybe let's make it 16, right? And let's add one more variable for the color. So one more action for the color. Set variable color, and this time make it something like this. You can choose anything, doesn't matter, it is just for the understanding perspective. And then last variable is present, so make it false. Okay, so now just just test the same interaction. I'll reload the prototype. Now you can see you have UX made 20 and this bluish color, and then it is true. Now when I click this, it is automatically switching all those things because we have created an on-click interaction which is setting these variables as we want. And you can keep it very dynamic. You can have one more variable which is not added somewhere here, and you can keep on incrementing that number, and based on the incrementation of the number, let's say you have first iteration, second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration, and so on and so forth, and you can keep on checking for the conditions. If the iteration count is equal to 1, then set the variable to John D. If iteration count is, let's say, 2, then set the value to maybe UX mate or like that, right? And then but in that case you have to keep on incrementing your iteration, and you need to define those conditions in your interaction, and that becomes a huge interaction, and really it is not required in the prototypes, right? So I guess that's all you should be learning about the variables to get started with them. And if you want to check the really advanced logic, how to create a dynamic input in the Figma using variables, then be sure to check out the link on the top right corner of this video in the card, or you can find that link in the description as well, where you can create a dynamic input using variables, where you can allow users to type in using on-screen keyboard and set the variables. You can create a dial pad using the same technique. So I have all these videos on the channel, so be sure to check them out all, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon next to it, because that will keep you always updated with all upcoming videos. And that's all. Till the next video, keep watching, keep learning, keep designing.